following has been brought to you by SJP World Media.
You're listening to In the Corner with Benny Mac. Unfiltered, uncensored, and unforgiving. Here's the man in the corner, Benny Mac.
Hello and welcome to In the Corner. This is the Clash at the Castle prediction show. Joining me, the Mr. I don't know if I'm his Brock Lesnar, to be honest, but joining me on the show, the Paul Heyman of the show, and Paul Heyman of many things that when we do these type of things, Mr. NJB is joining me for the Clash at the Castle predictions. How you doing, Nick?
Hello, everyone. Always happy to be here. I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Always happy to be here. You sound like a robot, mate. You need to be a bit more happy about it. You know, drink a Red Bull or something. How you doing, buddy?
I'll bounce off the walls if I do that.
Bouncing off the walls, did you say? Sorry.
Yeah, if I do that, we have a Red Bull.
You doing all right, man?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Obviously, last time we spoke about anything was it SummerSlam? Yeah, it must have been.
It was, yes.
Yeah, so you've not been on the show since, aka the Paul Heyman sort of persona. you should come on and go, my name is NJB. That's what you should do. Next time you come on, you're going to do that, man. But yeah, something we've been waiting for it feels like forever, actually. The build to this, normally like a pay-per-view, you think, oh, another pay-per-view already? Another pay-per-view already? Now, whether it's because it's in this country, I don't know. But it feels like it's felt like a long 3 weeks leading to this. I don't know about yourself, but that's what it feels like to me. Oh, he's gone. Oh, we've lost Nick. Are you still there, mate?
No, yeah. Sorry, yeah. I'm here.
What are we doing?
That's why I might just cut out.
Yeah, I was just saying it's felt like a long 3 weeks to get to Clash of the Castle.
It does, yeah. As you said, the pay-per-views do seem to come along very quickly nowadays, but obviously the excitement of having a pay-per-view in the UK, and also, am I right in thinking this really, you can consider it Triple H's first pay-per-view in charge? I think Vince had just left before SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think you could probably look at, in terms of the stories that have been built or are building to maybe the pay-per-view after this, I would say that's a fair assessment to say that it's probably Triple H's, or at least this group of people that are in charge, including obviously Shawn Michaels, who's been appointed VP of Talent Relations, or not Talent Relations, Creative. Sorry. So DX have basically taken over the industry, mate, which I think many people have pointed out. NWO have tried apparently, but DX won it ultimately. So that's who won the war, really.
I've got no problem with DX being in charge of it.
Nah, man. I mean, Triple H obviously NXT.
As long as it's the 1990s DX.
Well. I don't know. They keep talking about this TV14, but apparently Stephanie McMahon does not want to move the product that way. Obviously, she's like a co-CEO, I think, with Nick Khan. So it's hard to know where that's going to go if they do. But let's talk about it very quickly. You sent me it as well, and a lot of people have been talking about it this week before we get into Clash of the Castle. There's a few other things I want to touch upon before we get there. But the segment between Riddle and Seth, although they blanked out the swear words, it still happened. If that makes any sense, man. What do you think of a segment? Obviously,
it was good. It was nice to see. It's nice to see. What's the best way of putting it? It's nice to see hatred again.
Yeah, because obviously they're trying to build up
to a certain degree.
I know what you mean, yeah.
And literally just popped into my head just now.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the infamous Austin home invasion of Brian Pillman video.
Well, yeah, definitely for its time was well, even now by even today's standards, that would be considered quite controversial. I think, considering what was happening. So yeah,
not so much the situation, because obviously it's
questionable.
It's an interview. It's not like a confrontation or anything like that at all. But just the tone of the voices,
yeah,
and like the language being used, it was just
makes you feel. It makes you feel the. Like, well, with Seth and Riddle, then it's become very personal very quickly. So it gives it more of an edge in terms of, no pun intended there, to you're more intrigued because it's blurring the lines with real life and
Yeah.
wrestling, you know. So yeah, it's hard to put into words. I know what you mean though. It's to have that. I mean, you don't necessarily have two UFC fighters going, "Oh, I like you as a person, but I'm going to pummel your face in." No, it's more interesting when somebody gets in their face, even if they come across as a dickhead. The rivalry then becomes more interesting because if the one's being a dickhead and one's being like, "What the f are you doing?" You know, then it becomes you want to see that fight over maybe two guys that have respect for each other, if that makes any sense, because then they may pull their punches.
And it's I'm a fan of Riddle, I'm a fan of Seth, but
no, sorry, Matt Riddle. He has got his first name back as well as Austin Theory, mate. So that's some things that are changing within WWE at the moment.
I mean, as I'm a fan of both of them, but their characters over the last few years or so they've been very like cartoonish and like
I think you could say that a lot to
animated.
Yeah, I mean Seth's got that Joker sort of vibe, or had that Joker vibe going on for a bit, didn't he? Which I kind of liked, but you wanted to see a bit more of an edge to the people, which again with Riddle and Seth, you're definitely seeing a lot more of, and it makes it more interesting in a sense of what's going to be happening on Saturday. You know, in a couple of days' time now, Clash of Champions. I keep doing.
Spit it out, please.
Clash at the Castle. Mate, if you listen to the show, at least since on the build-up for the last 3 weeks, mate, I keep trying to say Clash of Champions, and it's not Clash of Champions, it's Clash at the Castle. Slap yourself, Ben. So, yeah, but there we go. So I've got to shoosh myself as well when I get too off topic as well. So, but yeah, no, I know, I understand where you're coming from, and I'm looking forward to that. We'll get into more of that in a moment. I just want to talk about a few things that have just come out in the last 7 or 8 hours ago that I haven't had a chance to speak to anybody obviously yet. Before we get to the main one, I just want to look at, I don't normally do this on the show in fairness, but I looked at the ratings from AEW Dynamite. Now I'm not a big fan of this normally, but I kind of, because we especially on the show, we've been talking about Triple H being in charge, you know, Raw and SmackDown seem better, there are stories happening, you know, they're starting to build and stuff, and we're starting to see certain changes, like, you know, superstars getting their names back. So I just wanted to see if there was any sort of indication of maybe viewership, just out of curiosity. And I've only done it for this week on Raw and this week's Dynamite. Now, this week's Dynamite had 938,000 apparently, drawing 938,000 homes, but apparently that's down 4%, mate. But Raw was up 5% in viewers and did 2.11 million views. So the source for the AEW Dynamite is on Forbes, and the source for the Raw ratings is on F4W Online. So, I mean, by no means are these. I assume they get these reports from somewhere, maybe the networks themselves. But but what's interesting to me is that AEW's down 4%. So logically speaking, Raw would be up 4%, but it's actually up 5%. So not only has AEW lost 4%, WWE have gained that 4% and gained 1% as well.
And then some, yeah.
So that's interesting.
It will be interesting. It will be interesting to see the ratings for SmackDown and Raw next week.
Yeah, after Clash of the Castle.
And not just Clash of the Castle, but the reaction to that Seth and Riddle promo.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I think that'll draw some people in for, if not Clash of the Castle, and then into Raw. Because, you know, Raws and stuff can be... Well, this year's WrestleMania's Raw was very lackluster, and as any WWE fan will know, any wrestling fan will know, Raw after WrestleMania is become sort of almost like a second mini WrestleMania to a degree, in a sense of reaction, you know. So it was quite lackluster this year, at least for myself. So, but yeah, the biggest one that's come out. Actually, I'll tell you, before I get to the biggest one, somebody put a good idea forward on the Pro Wrestling World on Facebook about who would beat Roman, assuming Drew doesn't this weekend. And somebody's made a very good story and a very good case for Sami Zayn to take it off Roman. I mean, talk about if he did, anybody that beats
That's
Roman
out
at the
of left
moment.
field.
Yeah, but Sami Zayn is a freaking monster in the ring when he can be. At the moment he's playing more like the Joker-esque, not in a Joker, and like a jester to the Bloodline. So I can see his point of view. I don't think it'll happen. It would be freaking amazing if it did. I would pop big time, but I don't see it happening. But it would be quite interesting because whoever beats Roman, now there's speculation on whether they're going to split the titles because apparently USA want a champion and Fox want a champion, and at the moment Roman tends to make more appearances on Fox than he does on USA. So the networks themselves want a champion. So, and obviously these are actually genuinely two different networks, even though it's WWE programming. So there's talk about maybe splitting the title. I've already said on the show, I don't know if you heard it, I don't want to see them split it. They've just put them together. The Universal title is really good. The WWE
make
title,
a decision and stick with it.
Yeah. WWE title obviously was merged with the old WCW bout, which was the NWA bout and stuff like that. But even though they did that, I would like them to make one bout for maybe keep it as the WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship. And because it's Triple H, I could see this happening, to be totally honest with you, mate. Bring that old World Heavyweight Championship bout back. I would love to see that bout back. I'm not going to lie.
I've got no issue with that. Just if they do split them again, don't merge them again.
The only way I could see I would just about buy it in a sense of, okay, I can live with that, is if Theory cashed in, but it turns out the contract is only for the WWE Championship, not the Universal. And even then, it's still a bit cheap, but I would just about accept that, if that makes any sense. There's obviously, with Karrion Kross coming back, he's been set up as a possible opponent down the line for whoever's champion. But there's a lot of talk about splitting it. I would rather, like you said, keep those bouts together now and let's have a new one come out. If not, I'd rather have maybe the old World Heavyweight Championship because it's the history of that bout, Ric Flair and all that in NWA. It would have prestige to it straight away. And obviously Triple H was a long reigning World Heavyweight Champion as well. So I would love to see that bout back. And can you imagine the pop, mate, when if they revealed that bout? It'd be freaking amazing.
It would be good.
I reckon we should start a petition, mate, and get this bout back, to be fair. But yeah, I just thought that was quite a cool theory, to be honest, and no pun intended there, to maybe...
My only issue with Sami Zayn in Roman is you would have to give it time.
Yeah, of course. So
you couldn't have him losing to Johnny Knoxville. No disrespect to Johnny Knoxville.
It was a good match at WrestleMania, mate. That's what I mean. Sammy put on a bloody good match there, to be fair.
It was a great match. But you can't have somebody losing to a non-wrestler 1 minute and then...
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's been on a winning streak. I know what you mean, though. He's had a few matches on SmackDown and stuff, but he hasn't really been on a winning streak, so I understand what you mean, yeah. No,
and then beating Roman, the champion, especially a champion...
Well, 2 years now.
Dominant as Roman has been.
2 years, mate. He's been Universal Champion. Obviously, he picked up the WWE title at WrestleMania, but he's been basically a heavyweight champion for 2 years, and they're celebrating it on SmackDown tomorrow, and also Friday for us. So yeah, it's interesting. Like you said, if Drew doesn't pick up the title at Clash of the Castle, I think it's going to be a barn. I think it's going to be a good match, to be fair, and it's going to be an absolute carnage because obviously with the bloodline and everything, and whatever's going to happen on Saturday. But I feel as though it's going to be an absolute. The arena's going to be a mess. I really believe that. Just before we get into Clash of the Castle, mate, just one thing just come on that I noticed that's come out. Apparently, Bobby Fish, who hasn't been in AEW that long, in fairness, will not be renewing. Whether it's him or whether AEW apparently will not be renewing Bobby Fish's contract. And by what I understand, because I don't watch AEW anymore, they haven't used him a lot anyway. And I think they maybe brought him in just to put some talent over, by the sounds of it. Is this a precursor to maybe we see Bobby Fish in WWE in the next month or two? It depends on when his contract's up, I suppose. But
has he been there a year already?
I'm not sure how long he's actually been there. I know.
Surely they wouldn't have given him anything less than a year's contract.
I don't. Without looking at, mate, I actually don't know. But all I do, according to this report I'm reading right now, it says that AEW is not renewing Bobby Fish's contract, and obviously potentially we can see him going to WWE. Triple H is in charge. You know, Triple H brought with NXT with obviously Undisputed Era, obviously Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly are still AEW. Well, I mean, what a good platform that could have been for AEW to take that Undisputed Era and maybe obviously refresh it, repackage it a little. But they've already got the momentum anyway because of the Undisputed Era. It could have been an absolute force. Now whether this changes in the next day or two, but apparently right now AEW are not. It's actually been reported on Fightful, so I'll try and keep them on when we come back on the air. Hopefully we'll have more information about whether Bobby Fish is actually signed or not signed or what else is going on. I feel as though the tide, and I said to you, didn't I, about maybe a year ago, that it seems like AEW is, I don't know, not quite there anymore. It had the buzz around it when it started, but I don't think it's quite. They've had some brilliant matches. Look, I'm not knocking AEW at all. They've had some brilliant matches with Moxley and Jericho, but again, and other people. But it feels like we've seen it before, mate. WCW stole stars that were established elsewhere. Not all of them are, because you got Kenny Omega, who's never been in WWE, the Young Bucks and stuff. But they were stars elsewhere on the Indies, and even if you're not a full indie fan, which I would say I dip my toe in, but there's certain names, aren't there, that make names for themselves, like a Finn Balor and AJ Styles, who we knew AJ Styles from Impact Wrestling, but we heard more about him from the Indies, didn't we, before he came to WWE? And you could tell that this guy was going to be something, if that makes any sense. And it's a shame that Kenny Omega's never been in WWE. And if the attitude's changing over there at WWE and the programming's evolving into better story, longer stories, more meaningful stories, I think somebody like a Kenny Omega could be an absolute freaking asset.
Yeah, that would be
for WWE.
That would be a great time to come over.
Well, I could keep an eye out for that and see whether we hear anything more about that. But yeah, apparently Bobby Fish is not coming to hasn't come to agreement with AEW to stay there. So I'm really surprised by that. Anyway, excuse me. Anywho. Cheers, please. Yeah, we are going to be chatting about, obviously, some Clash at the Castle, mates. Like I said...
You went again then, didn't you?
I nearly did. I very nearly did, mate. It was so freaking close that I nearly dropped myself in that then, to be honest. So yeah, man, like I said, it feels like a long ticket for Money in the Bank or SummerSlam, but maybe it's because we're in the UK as well, I don't know. But some of the stories, I mean, if you remember back a month ago when you came on the show for SummerSlam, mate, we were talking about how good Riddle and Seth's going to be, and that was with barely any build. And then it got cancelled, and we were like, we were quite gutted, weren't we, when we found that out? We were like, why? But they
but it makes it a really good match, that.
I mean, they had that little bit of a brawl, didn't they, at SummerSlam, but it wasn't what we wanted, and I'm sure there's lots of fans out there that wanted to see the match at the time.
Yeah.
Spending this bit of extra time to build this story a bit more, and especially with what happened on Raw this week with the family being brought into it. I mean, to be fair, Riddle said the comment first to saying that, there's only one man in your family, essentially, and that's Becky. So he started that, really. But Seth's response was freaking holy. And obviously, once you bring people's families into anything, mate, it doesn't take long for the fist to start flying, does it, to be honest?
Oh, yes.
I think that's why it works, because we can all relate to that. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, everyone's going to defend their family regardless of who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Even if your family's necessarily in the wrong sometimes, but there we go. Right, first match I want to talk about, mate, because I don't think there's much personally. I don't know if you saw this week that obviously we have new women's tag team champions, Rodriguez and Aaliyah. My picks were Dakota Kai and Io Sky to win, but they didn't, so my pick was wrong, obviously. But at Clash of the Castle, we have Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka versus Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Now, in terms of Bayley being on TV wrestling, this will only be the second time Bayley's wrestled since she's been back.
No, I didn't think she'd been around that much.
No, she had one match, I think last week or the week before, and it was a very short match. I think it was against Aaliyah. Yes, it was against Aaliyah because it was in Canada. Obviously, Bianca Belair is the WWE Raw's Women's Champion at the moment, so we've got her. Alexa Bliss and Asuka, who are like champions in their own right. Asuka was undefeated for a year in NXT. Bayley's obviously been a former champion. Dakota Kai and Io Sky, this is kind of their... I wouldn't say it's It's not their, obviously they're in NXT, so, but this is their sort of main roster sort of debut in a sense of a pay-per-view, actually wrestling. I would like, personally, I don't have much more to say about this match. I think it'll be a good, but the problem is, I said it on the show in the week, 6-man tag, or 6 women tag matches tend to have, because you've got so many moving parts in it, they don't tend to be overly good matches. And that's not to say they haven't happened in the past, but generally, from my experience, they don't tend to be like, it's not a match you're going to be talking about in a year's time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get your point.
I mean, I don't know what you think about it. I mean, any thoughts on this? Obviously, they're all, I've pretty much, apart from Dakota Kai and Io Sky, all these other women who have been Raw or SmackDown Women's Champion, or both in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, I don't what happens on the main shows as much now as I used to. I'd like catch the odd snippets here and there, but it does just seem like it's just been we want to get as many stars as possible. We'll just throw them all together into one match.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they've really built this 6-woman match, overly well, to be honest. Because of the tag team tournament, there's not been, and they beat. It would have made more interesting maybe if Alexa and Asuka went through to the final against Dakota Kai and Io Sky, and then you could have either team win, and then when you get to the 6-woman tag match, you have that beef straight away because one of the teams beat the other team for the tag team titles. So it adds that, which they haven't done. And there's nothing against Rodriguez. In fact, she looks freaking amazing, mate. And I think we're going to see her sooner rather than later as a women's champion. I would say in the next year. I would say maybe 18 months minimum. Aaliyah, I'm not sold on Aaliyah yet. I'm not dissing her. I've yet to see. It's hard to explain. I've not seen that spark in her at the moment.
Yeah.
Like when you watch certain wrestlers, you believe that's who they are. With Aaliyah at the moment, I don't think she's quite found her who she is as a wrestler.
Not found the it factor yet.
Yeah, so I mean, she's good in the ring, but I've not brought into her character at all. Whereas Rodriguez, back in the day, if China was still around, her and Rodriguez could have an she's not quite as tall as China, but I tell you what, she's in the ballpark of maybe Glamazon, So she looks good. But I haven't got much more to say about this match, mate. I don't think the rivalry's been built that well. Maybe we'll see a bit more of a turn in the match because obviously Bianca Belair being, once they finish the match, the business is done. Now Bianca Belair, any one of these women could attack Belair after the match to say that I want to be a women's champion.
We say they haven't built it, so they could be used as a launching pad.
Of course.
We might be just being a bit premature here, but
yeah, of course. But obviously, having it at a pay-per-view, normally you've built a story leading. Well, back in the day, so that's my only gripe. But I mean, I would like personally, because they didn't win the tag team titles, and I want them to keep the momentum because I want to see where this goes. I would like to see Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky win this because then that sort of establishes them as a good sort of stable, Yeah. So that's my choice, mate. I mean, how about yourself?
Yeah, as I said, I haven't seen much of it, so I was a big fan of Bayley before she went through that attitude change.
Yeah,
quite a while back now, but
yeah, I think.
But she's always had that gift. So purely for that, I'd like to see her pick up a win as well. So
we both going for the same one then.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm actually writing them down this time, mate. 'Cause last time when we did SummerSlam, I didn't. So we can compare notes. But obviously that would be we could both be wrong on this one, or we could both be right. There's no middle ground here, to be honest. I'm not moving through these matches as they are put on the card. I assume. I don't know which one's going to be first or anything like that, but I'm just going by the ones that obviously we know later on there's going to be more to talk about in other matches. Yeah. So, Liv Morgan, champion. Arguably she tapped out as the pinfall happened. So, obviously Ronda, I don't know if you saw this, Ronda Rousey got arrested and we haven't really seen her since because she invaded the arena because she's suspended. She's going up against Shayna Baszler. The biggest comment that I took away from Morgan and Shayna Baszler was when Morgan called Shayna Baszler essentially a cheaper version of Ronda Rousey, which did not go down well. Again, we've still got SmackDown to go for the go-home week. Obviously that won't be on TV till what day is it? Thursday. So for us, it won't be on until tomorrow. So we can't really put. In terms of a story, there's not been much here. I don't think really, apart from Liv Morgan, her arm's hurt. To be honest, mate, the fans have turned on Morgan very quickly, which I was really surprised about because obviously, as you well know, I was pushing for her to be women's champion along with a lot of other people. Instead of fighting against it, maybe it's because people like Ronda more, which makes sense. I think Liv should just turn heel at this point, if that is the case.
I mean, you know me, I'm a fan of the UFC, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of UFC Ronda Rousey, but I'm not a fan so much of WWE Ronda Rousey.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I can't explain it. It's just.
I think she's done bloody well to come into WWE, and she has done well. Yeah, maybe
she has done well. I'm not saying she hasn't, but it's just not clicking for me at the minute. And I could be being picky here. Or,
yeah, I think you are, but it's your opinion, mate, and that's the point of the show, really. I think she's done really well. I think she's probably a little bit stagnant at the moment, but the problem with she's almost like not in a sense of looks or anything, obviously, but she's like a Brock Lesnar. When you see her Ronda Rousey get in the ring, it's hard to imagine anybody beating her. So I think that's probably where you're coming from.
Yeah, it may be because she seems to be here the 1 minute and the next.
Well, in fairness, mate, she went away and had a baby, so you can't expect her to wrestle with a.
Yeah, I just can't really fault her for that.
just because you wanted to marry her, it's you can't have it both ways, mate. Hope you're fading away a little bit, mate. Hopefully we can still hear you. But yeah, in terms of the match, I think this would be a good opportunity for Liv to she probably won't, but it would be maybe a good opportunity for her to just embrace the evil, embrace the heel, maybe. But I think
that's how characters get over to begin with.
Yeah, well, look at Roman. Look how long they tried to push Roman as a face, and he was for a lot of people. But we all kind of just look. You go, once he turns heel. I'm not saying I knew that he was going to have a 2-year run or anything like that, but you felt that he could be a better heel, and some people do. And I think, but you reach a point as a heel, don't you, where not everybody, but you start earning the respect of fans because you've put in the groundwork. So, but I don't know how, but
a list of people that it's worked for in the past.
Yeah, say that again, mate, because you're breaking up.
Oh, I said you can make a list as long as your arm of former superstars' careers rejuvenated or seen their root, what they do become.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Rock as well as a good, Nation of Domination and everything. Is a good example there. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with Liv Morgan. I don't know how. Maybe probably a disqualification of some kind, outside interference. I don't know, but I think Liv Morgan walks out with the SmackDown Women's title.
Yeah, I can't see many championships being changed here, but I would like to see Shayna. I am a fan of Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, I'm a fan as well, but I feel as though Shayna's going to Liv's going to walk out, mate. So, are you going with Shayna?
I'm going to go with Shayna.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'm going to type that in now, so you can't dispute it later on. So we'll see who wins that one. Well, let's talk about one of the matches that I think is going to be an absolute barnstormer, and Gunther, who is the Intercontinental Champion, is going to be taking on Sheamus, and Sheamus has never held the Intercontinental Championship in his career ever,
hasn't he?
No. And in 2000, this is quite interesting, in 2009 at TLC, Sheamus was in the main event against John Cena for the WWE Championship in a table match. Sheamus left that night as the first Irish-born WWE Champion. On the same night, I can't remember who he was facing, but Drew McIntyre was facing for the Intercontinental Championship and also walked out with his first title in WWE at the time, the Intercontinental Championship. And now we've got Sheamus going for the IC title at Clash of the Castle, and we've got Drew McIntyre in the main event going for the Heavyweight Championship.
Funny how things work out.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, somebody must have done their own work because either they did that it's absolutely on purpose or it's absolutely by mistake. But either way, it's a nice little factoid. So, Gunther, formerly known as Walter, big freaking guy, really good in the ring.
This is going to be really physical.
This is going to be, and I feel like maybe the cronies are going to get involved. Pete Dunne, aka Butch, and all the others that are involved, but obviously they are technically outnumbered unless this is where they debut the former member of Imperium who didn't come up with them from NXT. I feel like this is going to be one of the matches of the night, mate. How about you?
Definitely could be. I mean, with those two guys, also, they're two very physical guys. We could even see a little bit more of the extra violence now under Triple H, so maybe a bit of blood here and there. Has a very, very high match.
Yeah, you broke up a bit towards the end, mate. You say you think it's going to be a really, really good match. Is that what you said?
I mean, it's definitely got the potential to be one of the matches of if not the show stealer.
Yeah. So, in terms of a winner here, do you know what? As much as I'd like to see Sheamus win this, I think I'd like Gunther to walk out with the IC title, and maybe we have this Intercontinental Championship title chase for Sheamus, maybe. Rather than him, although, doing it in Wales, I know it's not Ireland, but it's in, the UK. There's going to be some chops in this match, mate. I can 100% guarantee that. 100%. There's no stipulation to this match, as far as I'm aware. In fact, in any of the matches, I don't think there's really any stipulations as such, other than they are, your bog standard contests. So
standard matches, yeah.
Yeah. So, this is a hard one. I know I would like to see Sheamus win it, but I feel like the Gunther title reign is only really just beginning. And if you want to build Gunther for maybe a future heavyweight championship contender, I say keep the IC title on him a bit longer and make this title mean something again. And I feel like Gunther could do that, if that makes any sense.
I totally agree with you.
Bloody hell.
He would. Yeah, bear with me.
Okay.
He could make the IC title great again.
Yeah.
Or make it mean something again. I said not that it doesn't mean anything at the minute. That's the wrong choice of words.
Yeah.
I think Sheamus could do an even better job at that.
You think Sheamus could do a better job, did you say, mate?
Yeah. I think Sheamus could take that title where it used to be.
Okay.
And I think that is what.
Okay, right. I'm having trouble with hearing you, mate. So I'm going to try and call you back, mate, and so we can get this because you are diving out of the internet or what. But we'll try and get you back in a second. It's a good point. I think he was saying that he thinks Sheamus could do a better job with the Intercontinental Championship. We're going to try and rejoin the call now quickly. Can you hear me, buddy?
I can hear you fine.
There we go. Okay. I think you were saying Sheamus could be a better person to hold on to the title and make it mean something again. Was that the general gist?
Hold on to the title.
Yeah.
But definitely better to maybe elevate it a bit more. I think also would do it and do it in the long run. But I think if you've done a bit quicker, I think Sheamus would be the right option.
Sheamus could be the right option, did you say there? Sorry, mate. You've this call line has gone really shite all of a sudden.
Yeah, that was the long and short.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if you want to leave the call, mate, and then we'll try and get you back in and give me a call back. All right, just see if we can get you back in that way. Okay, we'll try and get Nick back in a second. Hopefully, you can come back in. It's been absolutely fine. We were talking for half an hour before we came on air, and we were absolutely fine with the freaking internet. It's just typical. As I look outside right here, as I sit here, it is actually starting to tip it down. So maybe that's why. I think he's going to go for. Here he comes. All right. Hopefully you can hear me. I think you can hear me fine. It's just you which having trouble hearing Nick. I think that's the problem.
How's that? Any better?
That seems to be better at the moment. So hopefully we can whiz through this. So I'm guessing your choice here, mate, is Sheamus.
Yes, I am going for Sheamus on this one.
I would like to see Sheamus win it. It's the only title he hasn't won. But it's also a nice idea that maybe down the line it becomes like a chase for him, almost like an obsession. And I feel that Gunther's reign is not quite been long enough because they had it on Ricochet briefly and they took it off him with Gunther, which is fine. I feel like I want to see Gunther go a bit further with it, basically. So I'm going to go Gunther.
Yeah.
But either way, mate, I feel like this is going to be one of the matches of the night in front of a UK crowd as well. Gunther has a big following over here. So does Sheamus, obviously. At this point, Sheamus is almost a guaranteed WWE Hall of Famer. Let's face it, that guy's done everything in the business.
That ship's definitely sailed.
Sailed.
Sailed, sorry.
So yeah, no, but I think we both agree this is going to be a freaking awesome match, basically. Before we get on to let's do that one. We're going to do Edge and Rey Mysterio are teaming up since, and obviously these two are former tag team champions back in 2003, I think they were, and against the Judgment Day in the sense of Finn Balor and Damien Sandow. I don't know if you saw the BT adverts, mate, over here for the for Clash of the Castle. If you haven't, I'll send them you after the show. They are absolutely hilarious. They got Damien Sandow helping out in a brewery, helping with sheep shearing, and it's hilarious, mate. And then there's an old lady that he's stopping with like a couple on a farm, and she goes, "I love WWE," and he goes, "What's your favorite thing about it?" And she goes, "The WWE face breaker." It's just, I think
great attempt at the accent, by the way.
I appreciate that. I feel like I'm on the border.
Like Dusty Rhodes.
Mate, that show doesn't exist anymore. But when I tried to do that many years ago, as you well know, the Dusty Rhodes impression did not go well, and I will never attempt it again. Guy's a legend. Let's face it. Anyway,
God rest his soul.
But yeah, it's great. I'll send you over them, mate, if you haven't seen them. They are bloody brilliant, to be honest with you. So but this past week on Raw, we had Edge come out and confronted the Judgment Day again, and basically Edge says they're like, "Oh, there's three of us, only one of you." He goes, "I didn't come alone." The Mysterios come out with kendo sticks, beat down the Judgment Day. It ends up in a bit of a stalemate, but there is a moment where Edge and Rey are out fighting the others, and Rhea is left with Dominic in the ring, and Dominic's got a kendo stick, but is like saying, stay back, and he's like either scared or mesmerized by her. We're not really sure. I feel, mate, that Dominic, and there's also a scene after the fact that Dominic said to Rey, "I thought this was a family thing at Clash of the Castle." Rey then says to Dominic, "I know some, but I needed someone with a bit more experience to take out the Judgment Day. I hope you understand, and we still want you in our corner." And he said, "Yeah," and he seemed okay with it. But I feel like maybe Dominic could be being brought over into the Judgment Day. I really feel like that could happen.
Yeah, because I was looking at the match card and I thought, Edge and Rey. Well, where's Dom? I wasn't sure whether he was injured or anything like that. Because it seemed weird for him to be left out of it.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like I'm going to say at 90% sure that Dominic is going to join the Judgment Day. Whether it happens at Clash of the Castle, I don't know, but I feel like it's going to happen this Saturday. I kind of want to see this happen, because then you've got Rey.
They're definitely planting seeds for that to happen.
Absolutely. And then, if anything, now, as an outside shot, by the way, just very quickly, I thought maybe this whole time this has been the plan for Edge to get Dominic away from Rey, so he pretends to be attacked by his Judgment Day cohorts. So all this in this whole time, Edge has actually been pulling the strings. What a long-term story that would have been.
That would be a very clever way of doing it. I'm just not sure if I could buy Dominic in that sort of a group.
Because he's basically the whole thing with the Edge thing's like an outside shot. I don't think that happened, but I've just seen in my head, I think that'd be quite cool. But there's been a lot of talk about the legends taking spots from youngsters, aka Finn, Damien, and Rhea. And obviously Dominic is brand new I say brand new, he's been in the company a couple of years now. And it's weird, actually, because his debut was in pandemic, so he wasn't even in front of a crowd straight away. So that must have been a weird buzz for him when he was.
Oh yeah, well, all to make a debut.
Yeah. But I really do think that Dominic is going to join the Judgment Day. Again, I kind of want to see it happen at Clash of. I nearly said it then. Look, Clash at the Castle. So yeah, I've so from that point only, and that's the thing I'm betting on. I'm saying Judgment Day wins at Clash at the Castle.
Yeah, I think.
From my point of view, anyway.
That you had Edge come up.
Say again, mate.
Sorry. I'm just trying to remember here. It was at SummerSlam, wasn't it, where you had Edge come out and make the save on the Mysterio? Yeah.
So with the Edge thing, I'm thinking that's more like an outside thing that could happen. But can you imagine like them taking Dominic away from Ray, unless we end up in a freaking custody ladder match again, like we had back in the day?
Let's not go back then.
But because he's a noob and he feels maybe he, as the young lad, feels like he's being held back by his father, who is a legend in the business and wants to make his own name. By joining the Judgment Day, he feels he can achieve that because he won't have his dad telling him what to do anymore. So an interesting story that could be there. That's how I'm looking at it.
To a certain extent, anyway. Charlotte Flair, when she used to have Ric Flair at ringside with her.
Yeah. Obviously, Charlotte just got to a point where she just felt she was better than her own dad in being held back. So yeah, very similar. You can kind of, not in a horrible way, but you can kind of, because Ray's been around the business so long, you can kind of see Ray being that sort of like, nah, son, you got to do it this way. Learn from my mistakes. Genuinely trying to help his son when all his son wants to do is break away and make his, and not be cast in the shadow.
In a way.
Yeah, and not be cast in the shadow of his dad, who is again going to be in the Hall of Fame at some point. So interesting story there. But with that Edge little sort of cherry on top for me would be cool. This whole time, Edge is, because if the whole point of the Judgment Day for Edge was to bring newbies or youngsters up and he would impart his knowledge to them so they could succeed in the business, it wasn't to hold them back, it was to elevate them. So that would be an interesting way this whole time Edge has actually been playing the Mysterios because of the relationship they had back in 2003 as tag team champions to lead to this.
It would be a very interesting storyline to go with. So like a Trojan horse sort of approach.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I do believe that Dominic is... I'm like a 90% sure, like I said earlier, that Dominic is joining the Judgment Day. The seeds have been planted, definitely, unless there's something I'm not seeing, which is quite possible. Which, do you know what? If I don't see it and I'm surprised, that's even better, because it's better television.
Yep, that's definitely true.
So I've gone for Judgment Day, mate. Are you... obviously, I've pleaded my case. Well, how about you with this?
I was thinking as well with maybe a turn for Dominic. I mean, especially when I didn't see him involved in the match. I thought, because I hadn't heard anything about him being injured or anything like that at all. So I was leaning to the Judgment Day getting the win as well.
Okay.
I'm just not, because I always see them as maybe I'm not doing it the right way, but I always did see them as that supernatural, like mysterious group.
Yeah, I don't think they actually ended up doing it that way after, thank God. That was the rumours of why Edge left. Backstage rumours is why Edge left the group, because the company was trying to push it more to be like a supernatural vibe. So now that that's not, maybe Edge's, maybe Triple H and Edge have spoke about it and said, look, I think we could still do something with this, but not go down that route. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But who are you leaning towards?
I'm going to stick with my gut and go with the Judgment Day.
Yeah,
I think it's more likely that it will be a case like the classic Dominic tries to help the team,
maybe cost them it,
and backfiring, and it costs them. It leads to friction between them,
which then could lead into Judgment Day. Maybe it doesn't happen at Clash of the Castle. Then maybe
possibly. It's just that no disrespect to Dominic, I like Dominic, but I just don't see where he would fit in that group.
I see. I think he, with a bit of an attitude change, in a sense.
Yeah, unless they are going for like a complete change of attitude,
which I think could work. I think could work for him. To a degree, and it'll be an interesting story. Like all Ray wants to do as a father is make sure your son's safe or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how that would work, but yeah, I feel like it's going to happen. I like your idea of actually maybe it doesn't happen at Clash, and maybe it's a case of it causes the friction because they lose the match because of Dominic inadvertently.
Yeah.
So then that sort of reinforces Dominic to be like. They don't, they keep holding me back. They say I'm stupid or whatever it may be, So that makes perfect sense to me, actually, mate. To be fair, it's a good shout. Probably better than my story, actually. So, yeah. But you're going with Judgment Day as well, so we've both gone with the same again.
I'm going with Judgment Day, yeah.
Okay. So I think the only matches we've gone different on at the moment are Morgan and Baszler, and now Gunther and, Sheamus. Yeah, so they wanted to go. Right. We have basically got 2 matches left that are on the card. Obviously, the biggest one being the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Do you want to end on that, or do you want to end on Riddle and Seth? So it's up to you, mate. I will let you make the call.
I think we should. I think, considering the past, we've been critical of not having the championship match as the main event. I think we should have the. I think we should end with the main event, like
okay.
the main belt, I should say.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes perfect sense. So yeah, Riddle versus Seth. We kind of touched upon it at the top of the show. It looks like it's going to be. I think the 2 no disrespect, because I think the main event's going to be good, but the top 3 matches, I don't know what order they're going to be in. Obviously, I feel like the top 3 matches are going to be Gunther, Sheamus, Riddle, Seth, and then the undisputed championship match. Obviously, which are going to be better, I don't know, but I feel those 3 matches are the 3 that I really want to see.
Yeah.
But Riddle and Seth has got that personal vibe to it now, especially. And
this could be.
So maybe
if they were allowed to, especially if they were allowed to tone up the violence, like I said, with the blood before and everything, and that, this could really be an absolute spectacle in its own right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the whole blood stuff, but I think I think you might be right. To be fair, if
it's gone to such a personal level,
yeah, it makes sense, mate. But whether they'll do it, I don't know. I feel like this match is going to be. It ain't going to be the opener, I wouldn't have thought, because people are going to want to see this.
Oh yeah, no.
But you've got
the opener.
But you've got to space these matches out, I think. So otherwise, if say you had Gunther and Sheamus first, then Riddle Seth, the crowd might be a bit sort of, blowing up. So you got to space them out a bit, I think. I could see Riddle and Seth being before the main event, maybe a match in between there. Maybe Liv and Shayna go before the main event, and Riddle and Seth are before Liv and Shayna. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I can see. Obviously, we're excited for the match, but I think there's more of a chance of keep going to call him Walter, Gunther and Sheamus being the opening match, and then maybe because I think obviously the main cause may be the main event, especially with it being McIntyre in the main event. Or challenging for the title, I should say. So I think maybe you'll have Edge and Mysterio versus Judgment Day before separating the 2 matches.
Yeah, okay, it makes perfect sense, to be fair. We'll see, because obviously sometimes we think, that match shouldn't be next. It should be like we've had, like you said before, we've had heavyweight championship matches start the show, and you're like, what the hell are you doing?
Such a strange thing to do.
It's a hard thing to do when you've got 2 heavyweight champions. Obviously, at the moment, they don't have that. They only have 1, so it makes it a lot easier. But what are we thinking then? Riddle versus Seth. I mean, Riddle's been on fire lately, but then to be fair, Seth took 3 losses against Cody. 3 straight losses, but has been pretty much, in terms of performing and stuff, is in really good. So I'm finding it hard to pick a winner here. I mean, any thoughts from yourself, mate?
I was just going to flip a coin, to be perfectly honest with you. It's just, it could really go either way. I'm struggling with this one.
As much as I want to see this match, this is the one that I am definitely struggling with. Should we just flip a coin? Maybe. I've got a coin here.
I'm gonna tell you what.
I think Riddle has been on fire. I think Seth has as well. I think it's going to be a freaking epic match. And as much as I'd like Riddle to see Riddle win it, it depends on where they want to go with it, obviously. But I think Seth might just win this, whether it be from a disqualification or because I feel like we could have an absolute barnstormer, and maybe this goes on a tad longer, and maybe we end up having a cage match between these 2 to finish it off, maybe. But I've got, and I mean, this is percentage, mate. I mean, I'm talking like literally 0.5%, but I'm going to go Seth Rollins for this one. I mean, it's a hard one, like you said.
I'm glad you've gone Seth, because I was edging towards Riddle.
I mean, like you said, it's an absolute hard one to pick, really. I think either way, this is going to be an absolute entertaining match to see. You tend to favour the MMA guys anyway, so that makes perfect sense for me. It's going to be interesting to see who wins it. I mean, we were gutted, weren't we, that it didn't happen at SummerSlam. I think I said that at the top of the show. We were a bit annoyed by it. But the story they've managed to tell since, I think, is made up for it. And I think it really could be an absolute... Again, those matches I mentioned earlier, Gunther, Sheamus, Roman, Drew, Riddle and Seth could be... Those three matches, I feel, could be... Any one of those matches, I think, could be the match of the night. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Easily.
Easily, man. So, yeah. Cool, man. All right, yeah, okay. So, that's going to be interesting. In my head, I want Riddle to win, but I'm just trying to... I feel like Seth is going to edge it out, you know, even if it's by... I don't know, he'd probably cheat, wouldn't he, to be fair, or some sort of outside interference, maybe. I don't think Randy Orton's clear, so I don't think we're going to see Randy. But
I was just going to ask you about that. Have you heard any more about his...
I haven't seen anything about him. I think he's recovering. I think they're waiting. I don't actually know him. I need to... Well, I'm going to need to do another dive into that and see what's actually happening with Randy. So it'd be interesting to see, though.
I think... Obviously, we don't think it will. But I don't think you would need that in this sort of match. Because the storyline between good.
Yeah, you don't need that. The only way you would have it, I suppose, if Seth had maybe some allies come out and help him.
Yeah.
You know? Which maybe we'll see at some point. But interesting to know. So, yeah, we'll see how that one... So, main event then, mate. Main event. Obviously, this is the first show in 30 years in a stadium in this country. It's in Cardiff. As far as I'm aware, ladies and gents, at least when we record it, there were still some tickets available. Mostly upper tier, and the ones that were sort of ringside were over £300 a ticket, so they're not cheap, to be honest. I did look up, apparently a load of bars around the local area are doing like watch parties as well, which I thought would be really cool. We don't really have that around here, which is a shame. Problem is, there aren't many wrestling fans I actually know, to be totally honest, that would maybe watch it, but there we go. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good event, and I think it's going to be awesome, especially even better, mate, because it starts like 5:30 for us.
I know.
It's going to be so freaking...
Until 4 in the morning.
That's what I was going to say, yeah. I'm going to stay up till 4 in the morning and trying to fight sleep, you know, so you can watch it. Go on then. This is the same as Seth and Riddle for me, mate. This is a coin toss. It would be amazing if Drew won in his home continent.
Yeah, I would love to do it, but I can't see it happening.
Maybe this is the time where we see when the outside interference actually backfires on Roman and he does lose the title to Drew. But if you're going to have Drew win, I would rather him beat Roman clean, unless you want to make a double match out of it. So the next pay-per-view, maybe it finishes it there. But I honestly can't pick, mate. My heart says Drew. My heart says Drew. My brain says Roman. So it's quite hard to know, mate. What about you?
Saying one thing that I hope doesn't happen. I hope that they do, like what you were saying just about there being that second match. I hope they do not just give the win just to have him lose it against Roman on the next pay-per-view. I don't like it when it just swaps. When they swap the championship over just because of where the pay-per-view is.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You did break up a bit there, mate. So the gist of what Nick's saying is he doesn't want to see Drew win it just to lose it next month. Hopefully that came through, but you're broken up my end, mate, so I'm not sure. I'm not
sure what's going on today.
No, it was fine, wasn't it? We were talking for about 20 minutes before we started recording, so it was a bit weird. We apologise for the technical difficulties. It's internet for you. I don't know how who to pick. I really don't know who to pick. Now, I did put a question out on what is the match we're looking forward to out on Twitter at In the Corner WWE. Before we get to our answers, mate, I just want to read a few of these out if that's okay. So Witticisms of Ben said Rollins versus Riddle. The story's been built really well, which is what we said earlier, which is amazing. Well, and he's also put also a shout out to Gunther and Sheamus. Hasfest coming, I think is what he meant to put. Who's that? Just in time 211 on Twitter. It's a toss up between Rollins and Riddle, Gunther and Sheamus, mate. So I feel like most people are thinking probably the same as us in terms of matches, which is pretty good. Dan Griffin 21 says Gunther versus Sheamus is exactly my kind of big lads. Going to be a hell of a fight.
Yeah, like a physical contest. I'm very
yeah. He reckons he's saying a sleeper match of the night. He reckons it's going to be a match of the night. I think we're up there, aren't we? To be fair with them. The moment I'm most looking forward to is the finish to Reigns versus McIntyre. Will they pull the trigger on Drew and make it the second UK WWE title change? Because obviously the only other WWE title change in the UK was AJ Styles a few years ago, winning on a SmackDown taping against Jinder Mahal. So that was I believe in Manchester. So
I said got no problem with them doing that.
No, man, it's so hard. And this is quite funny. Willem with Millwall Chris won. I have to look at the match card as I haven't been keeping up. Also, he's going. So even though he's going, he's not kept up to the freaking thing. So yeah, he's not. He's hoping that Seth stomps Matt Riddle's head right through the canvas, so he's a Seth Rollins fan. And that's about it on the thing. So thank you very much to those people that responded on Twitter at In The Corner WWE. More questions coming out, and any comments you want to throw out about this episode, you can do it there. So time has come, mate. We need to choose who's going to win the... is Roman going to retain, or is Drew going to become the undisputed WWE Universal Champion?
I'm going to go with what I want, rather than what my brain is saying, and I'm going to
say that again, mate. You broke up.
I'm going to go with my gut rather than my head. I'm going to say Drew.
You're going to go with Drew, did you say? Sorry, mate. Yeah. I apologise for keep asking the same question. Now, as I said, my heart wants Drew to win this. He's had a hell of a story. I'm not taking anything away from Roman because he's had a hell of a run. And he's made that Universal title mean something. He really has.
You can't do that.
Yeah. So my heart is saying Drew, but I think Roman Reigns is going to walk out of Clash at Clash. And do you know what, mate? If I'm fucking wrong, do you know what? I'll be happy. But I feels like Roman is going to walk out with the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. But then we've got to throw this it factor in here very quickly, mate, because we haven't really discussed it. Theory is still lingering in the background with that Money in the Bank briefcase. Now, these two could beat the absolute holy hell out of each other.
Yeah.
What I don't want to happen is Drew to win it and get cashed in on. I don't want that to happen. If Drew wins it, Drew wins it. But if Roman retains and Theory cashes in, what a good way of getting Roman out of it, because he's just had a hell of a match against Drew, who's beat the absolute snot out of him. And then we have maybe a triple threat match maybe in the next thing. But obviously we have to mention him. Theory. I mean, it is a possibility that he cashes in and fails. That is a possibility. But it's hard. It's a hard one to know, really. So sorry, what did you say? What were you going to say, mate?
I was just going to say this. I would have a bit, just adding on to what I was saying earlier, I would have less problems with them giving Drew the title, having him cashed in on. At least that way it's extending the story somewhat, rather than just giving the title and lose it the very next pay-per-view against Roman.
So you would rather have him, worst case scenario, you'd rather have Drew cashed in on?
Yeah. Rather than just giving the title just to get a pop from the local crowd.
Yeah, okay.
Then,
can you imagine Theory cashing in on Drew, though, man? The crowd would get lynched.
There is a lot more chance, because obviously they had him saying that he was going to cash it in against the winner of Brock and Roman, I think there's
Yeah.
a lot more chance of him cashing in on this pay-per-view than there was that one.
Okay. So your theory is, no pun intended there, that you were going to see Theory cash in at Clash. Okay, so yeah. So in terms of the actual match, but then there is a possibility, mate. This becomes a triple threat as well, of him cashing in, not necessarily after the match, but during the match, which he kind of did at SummerSlam, or tried to, didn't he?
Tried to, yeah.
That would have been funny, though,
Didn't
wouldn't
go well.
it? No, it didn't. But it would have been funny if Theory had cashed in and he just stood there and neither one of them got up, and he just won it because of the.
I would have loved it if that happened because I really wanted that.
Yeah, it's a little outside shot at it to be. It would have been cool, man. I think that's it then. So I've got them all written down, mate. It's going to be, like I said, in terms of the main event, I think it's going to be one of those matches. Is going to be a Stormer Riddle, the Riddle match or the Gunther match. One of those two, I really do believe they are going to be matches of the night. I've maybe leaned probably towards Seth and Riddle because of the personal animosity between them. But it's going to be an absolute. I think it's going to be a great show regardless. And I'm hoping that as well. I'm not trying to be biased because it's in the UK, but I really hope it's going to be, because of the vibe you get with us UK fans anyway, is freaking amazing, I think. So, but yeah, that's it for the show. Thank you very much for listening. Hope you, do you agree with our picks? If you don't, or you do, at In The Corner WWE on Twitter. Nick, thank you very much, buddy, for popping in and having a chat. Hopefully next time you come on, the technology will be in our favour.
Yeah, I'll hopefully be back with a better instinct.
Yeah, hopefully so, man. Thank you very much, Nick. I appreciate it, man. So that is it for this show. This is Clash of the Castle predictions. Hopefully, wherever you are watching it, you enjoy the show, and come stop by as we review the show next week. And thank you very much. This is In The Corner. I'm BenNny Mac. Nick, thank you once again. And we'll see you all again next time on In The Corner with BenNny Mac.